How you doing, boss?
Not bad, bro. Not bad at all. What's your question, man?
Hey, with Classic coming out in Lich King,
Mm-hmm.
kind of reminded me of Loken, and I'm starting to suspect Nozdormu as the Dragonflight's Loken.
In what way, if I can trouble you for an explanation on that, in what way do you expect him or suspect him of being the Dragonflight's Loken?
Well, it started off with the Legacy cinematics. Everything that he's taking the Drakthir through,
Uh-huh.
it's almost like lying by possible omission.
Uh-huh. So there's a couple of things about Nozdormu that I completely forgot. Just because it's been a few years since I've read Dawn of the Aspects. It's been even more years since I've read War of the Ancients. And I just, for some reason, yesterday, I'm sitting here, I have no power. It's 4 hours that I have no power for. And I just thought, fuck it, because the thing is, yeah, I wanted to lie on my bed to read, and in order to read my Warhammer book, I have to put this flashlight on my head because there's no power. And I was like, no, fuck that. I'll just grab the Kindle and I'll see what books there are on there to read. And I'm like scrolling through my books and I'm like, okay, Dawn of the Ancients is on here. I haven't read that for a really long time. Let's read that. So I've been rereading Dawn of the Ancients, and I have to say, if you've already read Dawn of the Ancients, uh, uh do it again. Not Dawn of the Ancients, Dawn of the Aspects.
Dawn of the
Me.
Aspects.
Yeah. If you do it again, because with everything that has happened since the release of the book, and now with everything that's happening in Dragonflight, it gives you so much more appreciation for the story of Dawn of the Aspects. But a lot of people, I think, have forgotten the story of Nozdormu and exactly what Nozdormu is going through and how Nozdormu feels about things. So when Nozdormu lost access to the aspect power, right, to being an aspect, he kind of lost, I would say, the Bronze Dragonflight lost more than most. I would say probably lost more than any of the other Dragonflights, because the Timeways, as it is now, is completely locked to Nozdormu. He can't affect them, he can't change them, he has no access to the Timeways. And considering that that is the very reason he exists, you can imagine that it's difficult. By access, I don't mean that he can't travel the Timeways, I just mean that he has no influence over them. He can't. Well, yeah. Basically, the purpose for which they were built is not there for him. So Nozdormu is going through, I think, one of the hardest times of all of the Dragonflights, and all of the Dragonflights are going through a really hard time. So I would be surprised if Nozdormu would actually betray his brothers and sisters. I don't think that is something that he would be capable of. Of course, not until he becomes Morozond, but I'm assuming we are talking about Nozdormu and not Morozond, because there's a lot of communication issues here, or not communications, but interpretation issues here between Morozond and the ability for Morozond to ever truly be a game, right? Because the thing is, at the end of Cataclysm, we kill Morozond. We bring an end to Morozond, and the timelines reflect this. So there's sort of there's a debate going on within the World of Warcraft realms about, can Morozond, is the prophecy that Nozdormu will one day again turn into Morozond still on, or is that prophecy no longer valid? And for this, we're gonna have to wait, right?
Well, what I was looking at,
Yeah,
when I said he's like the Loken, I'm 90% there in just thinking about it, that the Nozdormu that we are seeing lead the story and legacies is actually Morozond.
well, yeah, but that's
Because you can go forward and back in time,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing's saying that he didn't come back
Yeah.
to Dragonflight before we killed him, because there's a comment when you're in in the regular Lich King,
Yeah.
where you have to go and do something, and your character meets the future character who's 100 and tells you to take better care of your gear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm almost thinking, since Nozdormu can't, or maybe won't, mess with the timelines, is because Morzon was created when the aspects lost their powers. They died as the aspects. They're trying to resurrect their power, if you would
Yeah.
see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that would be such, I think, a cliffhanger ending, that if it was Morzon all the while and they brought in everybody to combat him or nullify his effects on the timelines.
Well, so the one thing that I'm not entirely convinced by, and why I don't know if Nozdormu, because I'm right there with you. Someone in chat as well, Saven Raven, how you doing? Saven actually said this. Nozdormu gave like really creepy vibes in the Legacy chapter videos, right? Like really creepy. I think everyone watching that had the sense of, you're weird, bro. Like, why are you acting so weird?
Something ain't right.
Yeah, something doesn't seem quite right. But like I said, it could just be because of his own struggles, because he no longer knows who he is or where he's supposed to find himself. The thing that I would say would probably put a bit of a stop on the whole he could be Morazond already is Morazond's demeanor. So Morazond as an enemy is not what one would call an intelligent enemy, if I can put it that way. And by that, I don't mean that he is dumb. I mean, he's more of a brute force kind of enemy. You know, he simply brute forces his way through things because the Infinite Dragonflight is ridiculously powerful. And their ability to control time and move in time makes them nigh unkillable. So I'm not sure if Morazond would go this sort of backdoor, slow victory approach. But even then, we have to really have a debate over can Nozdormu even still turn into Morazond, considering that it already happened and we already killed Morazond? Right? And this was Nozdormu's doing. Nozdormu effectively, now this is where the prophecy comes in, because the prophecy, and I think, so this is gonna get long. Strap in, boys. Okay, so the prophecy that Nozdormu got, the vision that Nozdormu got when he got turned into the bronze aspect, was that there will come a moment, the moment of his demise, and in that moment, he will choose not to go down. He will choose not to die. And it is this defiance that ultimately turns him into Morazond. The exact moment of that we never actually got any explanations for, but we know that that is the vision that he saw. He saw his own death, and then he saw that he declines that. He does something to circumvent his own death, and that turns him into Morazond. Now, based on the strictest reading of the vision, he could have done that at the end of Cataclysm. Because
when everybody lost their power.
Yeah, but Nozdormu took all of the timelines, right? All of the timeways, and he tied them into a single timeway in the end time dungeon that led to Morazond. We killed Morazond and therefore brought an end to Morazond in the in the time ways. So the time ways going forward from end times is now free of Morozond. The infinite dragonflight still exists because they will always exist. We didn't kill all of the infinite dragonflights, or dragons, but we did kill Morozond due to what Nozdormu did there. And that could be seen as a circumvention of his inevitable demise, knowing that he will one day die and then turn into Morozond, but stopping Morozond so that he will not turn into Morozond is still him stopping himself from dying. So it is sort of, in a very roundabout way, he could have actually there already started his journey into falling and becoming Morozond, right? Because we nowhere does it say that he just poof turns into Morozond. It just says that after refusing to die, he will become Morozond. So this could take eons. This could take a really long time before he finally does turn into Morozond. It all depends. So I can see where you're coming from with that speculation theory. Right now, I would say the only thing we can do really is wait, because not much else at this point is known of the Morozond story, or even of what Nozdormu is up to. At least not from where I am in this story right now.
Oh, definitely. Because it was almost like Nozdormu in the Legacies was almost sad, resigned to his fate, almost attitude. And maybe his reason for that is because, all right, I don't want to become Morozond, but if I don't regain the aspects and all the aspects, the red, the black, and if I do not empower them, something way worse is going to happen to Azeroth. So I have to give myself up and become Nozdormu to save Azeroth.
You mean become Morozond? Because he is Nozdormu.
Yes.
But yeah.
Right. I'm sorry.